With Palworld taking the internet by storm and a surge of new players entering the game, I thought I would share my top 10 tips for beginners in Palworld based on my own experiences with being a beginner and what I learned and the things that I wish I knew earlier. That way, if you're just getting into Palworld or you're about to, you can have some of these tricks in your arsenal for if or when you ever need them as you enter into the world of Palworld. Let's get this video started. Number 10. Trainer Battles. In battles against trainers like Zoe, they can be a challenge depending on your gear, level, pals, and so on, so your approach can make all the difference here. When you're fighting a trainer like Zoe, if you aim for the trainer rather than the pal, you do a significant amount more damage than you would just hitting the pal itself. However, keep in mind that a direct hit with your weapon to the trainer in these battles usually results in the trainer and the pal aggroing you, so be prepared for that. Also, getting too close to the trainer and its pal seems to also aggro you, so it seems to be based on range, so just try to keep your distance and let your pals do most of the heavy lifting. Also, something just to think about for when you're leveling up to make these battles a little easier, as you enhance your player's stats, focus on health, stamina, carry weight, and at least do that up until level 10. And then after 10 I would probably add some attack to the mix just as a little bonus. It does help. And now, let's move on to number 9. Number 9. Use Liftmonk effigies to enhance pals to make them stronger. So number 9 kinda goes with number 10. If you're struggling to beat a boss, try using Liftmonk effigies just to enhance your pal's strength. This is a great way to boost your pal's abilities above their current level and can make a huge difference in boss battles. Now, this is easier said than done because you need to find the Liftmonk effigies first before you can use them to enhance your pals and even yourself as a player, but we'll get to that later. And finding these effigies aren't hard, but it's just a little time consuming to stack them up since you need to explore around the map to continue to stack them. Number 8. Use Liftmonk effigies to enhance players' catch rate. So I wanted to separate the topic of effigies into two separate tips just because they are different things, but they're both important and for different reasons. Now, if you've played Palworld at all for any amount of time, I'm sure you've experienced this.
I can't believe this. How is this fucking possible? I'm using... This is... hours of farming. Hours of farming for nothing. This is crazy. Come on! Come on, I got 37 ball. Oh my god, he's getting weak. He's getting weak. We're about to hit it. We're about to hit it. Here we go. This is I can't believe this.
Just like using effigies for your pals, you can also use effigies for your player as well to increase your catch rate. You also want to pair this with using the appropriate spheres based on what pal you're trying to catch. Collecting effigies can make catching pals a lot easier and faster. As you upgrade your base, you'll be prompted to build a statue where you can spend your effigies any way you like. Number 7. Getting stuck under the map. Currently in Palworld, getting stuck under the map is a pretty common thing in early access. I can't tell you how many times it happened to me in my first 50 hours. Every time I got lucky and managed to get out. However, there is a better way to get out from under the map if you get stuck. If you have a flying pal with a saddle in your party, you can use your flying mount to get out from under the map. I got to test this out when it happened to me again, and it actually works. I just wasn't recording when it happened. Also, if you don't have a flying pal, you can always do what I do and try to find something to climb on, like a rock or a cliff or something. That seems to usually work because it allows you to pull yourself out from under the map. Number 6. The right pals for the right job. Selecting your early game pals with base productivity in mind can make farming so much better for you. Finding the right pals for your basic needs will come with time, but there are a few pals you might want to think about putting in your base. For example, Rushore is good at mining, Elk Deer is ideal for farming wood, putting lamb balls in your ranch will farm unlimited wool, adding Vixies to the ranch will farm pal spheres, and Ruby to do your cooking, and those are just a few of some valuable early game pals. And my number one tip for just base building in general is just for right now, since there's no PvP or no right or wrong way to really build a base or how you should or shouldn't build a base, just have fun with your base building, try new things, try to just have fun with it. Me personally, I like the Rust style of building in Palworld right now. I've been having a lot of fun with it and it's been pretty interesting. I wonder how that dynamic's going to change once PvP comes out, but we'll have to see. Number 5, resource management. Resource management is key in Palworld. Since you can only carry a limited amount of items at one time, make sure to put your storage boxes in convenient places around your base, like near your stone and wood farming plots, near your workbenches for quick storage, and some boxes inside your base to store some of your more valuable items. Also, upgrading your storage boxes will allow you to store more items. It might also be good practice to bring some of your storage inside your base for further protection. I don't know exactly how things are going to be affected when PvP comes out or what features and updates will be released, but as a Rust player, it's kind of a habit I just fell into, but I figured it was worth mentioning it here anyway. And last thing, don't forget to lock your stuff. Boxes, doors, things like that. You don't want to give anyone any unauthorized access. Number 4, spawn locations. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this one just because this is the kind of thing that kind of just takes more time than anything. But I will say, try if you can to avoid the plateau of beginnings to start off at, just because that's usually where everyone tries to start off. And I kind of like just staying away from people. Again, being a Rust player, that's just kind of my go-to thing, I guess. And I kind of just built that habit. But when it comes to spawn location, just make sure that it's an area that's going to have a somewhat decent amount of pals where you can get some variety, get your basic base pals, and get some other resources and have enough space to kind of move around and build. There are a couple smaller areas and I would try to stay away from those, at least starting out, and then later on you can maybe try out some different areas and try some different things. Number 3, base building. When it comes to base building, the main thing I really just want to mention here is that if you build a multi-level base and make it super secure and more protected, that could be good practice for future updates and future gameplay to come. And I'm not gonna lie, having a watchtower in your base is pretty cool. Number 2, flying pals. Getting yourself a flying pal sooner rather than later is going to be a huge advantage. When it comes to getting all the teleporters, flying is usually my go-to favorite way to go, just because it's quick, easy, and you get into less trouble that way too. Flying pals also are useful more than just for traveling. So since you can saddle up and kind of attack other pals on your pals, whether they're flying or not, it's a super huge advantage, I feel like, being able to go from the sky, swoop down, do some attacks, and really take advantage of raids and any other pals that you might be trying to take on. And also, you have a little more control of your pal as well. He's not going to be going crazy while you're shooting your gun or shooting your bow. You kind of have a lot more control with your pal when you're riding it when it comes to attacking. So when it comes to something like this is kind of the most ideal way to go. Just look at that crowd control. Super effective if you ask me. And Nightwing is a super effective early game pal. I highly recommend Nightwing for those early levels. Eventually you're going to want to upgrade, but you'll get good use out of them for a while. Number 1, incubators. When it comes to incubating eggs, they're a little sensitive to temperature, so if they're a little cold, you can place a fire near them and it'll decrease the time it'll take for them to hatch, and if it's too hot, you can cool them down by using coolers and other devices as well. And this is super helpful for those really long incubation eggs that take like 24 hours. Yeah, that'll be really helpful for that. You can almost decrease the time in half. Well guys, that's going to do it for our top 10, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think are some things that I missed or I left out? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear them. And if you made it this far in the video, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.